Podcast.
Welcome to World Building Wednesdays, Episode 7. We're going to be finishing the Abyss of Sill Hall Dune. Alright, here's where we left off last time, where we got a lot of the background stuff done. And we're going to finish some of the background elements here, which we don't have a whole lot more to do, and then finish up some of these foreground things. So I'm going to go ahead and get to work, and I'll be checking in to see who pops in, and so whenever you do, say hello. There's Ashley and BQ. Yeah, happy Wednesday. Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing today? Yeah, I'm enjoying the warm weather. I'm doing okay. Was able to get out a little bit and enjoy the weather, so that was nice. Hey there, Red Fox. How's it going? Looks like my brush is a little small on this one. So the plan is today is to get as much of this artwork done as we can, and then I want to just do a little bit of question and answer stuff with you guys to see what direction that we want to take with these shows, and to see exactly what we want to do and how we want to approach it. No wonder I'm struggling drawing here. I forgot to put on my half Michael Jackson glove to draw. There we go. Yeah, Biku's asking about the artwork on the walls depicting the giants. Yeah, I think we can probably do something with those. There's not a whole lot left to do. I think that's about the only thing that there is to do as far as new artwork on this. Otherwise, it's just kind of tracing over the sketches that we already have. Just kind of filling the steps in here quickly. These are going to be so small on the actual artwork, you're probably not even going to be able to see them, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time putting detail into those. There we go. The glove helps out a lot. It helps me draw straight lines, or else my hand will catch on the screen and make some like jerky lines on it. So that's not working out so well. So I'm glad I got that sorted out. So we do have a couple spots on the wall where we can address some of the giant stuff. I mean, there's a couple ways we can go about that. I mean, it could be the showcasing how this thing was built. It could just be showing general things. I mean, we talked about potentially making this some kind of hydroelectric power plant and irrigation system, so we could maybe depict how that stuff was working within the lifestyle of the people that were using it. I mean, you guys have any thoughts on any of that kind of stuff that we can add as far as the murals to the wall here? Just going to keep filling in some more detail. The platforms down here. Fishing, since it's close to water. And we could show something like that, yeah. What kind of fishing are we talking about? Like boats and nets kind of fishing? Yeah, I guess we never really defined how big these giants are, if they need to use their hands or not. So, if they can just kind of like scoop down and they have like tons of fish. And that's kind of stuff I haven't really thought about yet. I just am kind of coming up with interesting world ideas that we can explore. So some of that stuff is fleshed out and some of it's not. So it's not really super relevant to the game as far as make or break the story or the gameplay. So I just kind of haven't put all the effort into that yet. Depends on the size of the fish. Yeah. Well, the Falana in the game, which are like regular kind of fish, are just like normal size, human scale type fish. But that doesn't mean that there isn't some massive one out there. Keep forgetting I need to take some chunks out of the blocks here. I need to be a little more damaged, I think, in some of these areas, just to make sure that I'm keeping it in the ruin area here. Yeah, I think it'd be interesting, since we're dealing with giants, to maybe have some kind of like massive fish that they're trying to catch or something like that. Maybe we can depict not only the giants in that scene, but also people, just to kind of give it a little more scale. I mean, we have this huge wall over here, I guess, so... So maybe the fish is like whale scale for regular people, but the giants are like, it's just a regular fish. Giant squid? Yeah, giant squid are cool. We can probably do something like that. We do have a couple panels, I guess. We could probably do something with both. What do you think, Red Fox? How big are you thinking the fish? You thinking like massive, or like Moby Dick kind of fish compared to people, but then the giants are just like, okay, that's just lunch? Or are you thinking the giants are helping catch like lots of little fish? Cool. We'll do the giant squid thing and then the large fish. We can kind of depict how that would work here. I might have to switch back to sketching here, since not really sure exactly how that's going to play out. Get my layers sorted out here. Expertly named layer 13. That'll work. So I'm still going to try to keep that general style of that kind of Mayan kind of blocky look. So I'm just drawing some lines here to help guide the perspective stuff as I'm drawing. So I kind of know where the centers are, stuff like that. So I think maybe we'll do kind of like a scene that it's almost like hunting this giant fish kind of thing. That might be kind of interesting. But then also show the people, and then also show the giants in here and see how that works out. So I'm going to do just a real quick sketch of what this might look like, see how it works out. So I think we'll do like a scene where the water is coming, or the fish is kind of coming out of the water. I don't know if it's going to work out as well here. We'll see. I think we kind of need maybe a boat on one side that'll have the people, so we can kind of see like the size of them. And of course they have to have like spears or something. And then maybe on the other side, we put some kind of the giant thing over here. So I'm not real sure how we're going to do this. Maybe he's kind of like kneeling down, so maybe I need to bring the water level down a little bit more so it's like looks like it's on the coast. And as always, if you have any feedback, don't hesitate to give your thoughts here to see how we can play this out, because I'm not sure this is the greatest thing right now, but I'm just kicking around some ideas of how this maybe could work. And I can put a little more detail into this fish, I guess, because it's going to be a little bigger. It's a baby whale, Jay. Yep, something like that. For all those of you who have not seen the baby whale thing, search for that on YouTube. know if that's working out so well or not. Maybe that's a little too, I guess, has too much perspective and action. So I take a look at some of the like Mayan stuff. It's a little more flat and there's a lot less action-y stuff going on. Whoops, I think I just scrolled by accident there. There we go. Let me try something else real quick. Kind of forget what the fish looks like. So this makes it a little more squared off so it's not so action-y. That probably would be more accurate to how something like this would work. Trying to work some kind of like a narrative into this scene. I'm thinking that what I can try here, I'm going to probably move this over a little bit. So we have the fish, and I want to add a boat in here. Of some kind. Almost like it's kind of pulling this fish in, and then the giant kind of be behind here, like off, like they're pulling it in for this giant. We'll put some clouds up here just to add some dimension to this, and maybe add a sun here just to keep that in mind that this is an outside scene. We put another layer of clouds here. Now I'll add some dimension to these. I think a little bit when I put the shading on it, so it'll feel a little more three-dimensional whenever, so it looks like a carving. And I'll kind of match that other sun relief, but kind of in reverse. So I'll put like the rays kind of coming down off of it. guess these are ore boats. I don't know. Let's go for it. Less dependent on the wind that way, I guess. I mean, I can even be a little on the nose here. I mean, this is not like a serious game. So, I mean, I could have the giant with a fork here, like he's ready to go to eat this thing. I think give that a shot and see how it looks. I'm trying not to put too much detail on this because it does need to be visible when it's pretty small, so I am intentionally not putting a ton of detail in this. I might be able to move it down a little bit. I think we're kind of losing the top a little bit, so I'm going to move it down. Where we can get more of the actual giant guy in here as well. We haven't really talked about what these guys are going to look like or anything, so I haven't really put any thought into how they look, why they're giants or anything like that. So I'm kind of open to some feedback and suggestions on that stuff there. You know, like how humanoid are they? They got any weird features? What their deal is? At this point, I'm just throwing some sketches down. So I can change this at any time. Ashley says she loves today's background music. I think this is Chrono Trigger, like on piano, I think, or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, I'd have to check to be sure. Now, since I moved that, I'm probably going to have to adjust the perspective on this to make it line up a little better. All right, that looks a little better. And then we also want to put some giant squid stuff in here. Now this game is about food, so I want to try to keep that theme going however I can here. So maybe I'll show a giant squid that's kind of maybe getting turned into some kind of food. And here's where I'm going to go look for some reference, because I'm not really sure what squid look like off the top of my head. So I'm going to look for some pictures here. I guess we have a few different options here. I'm just looking at a couple pictures. I'm not going to go super crazy here with trying to pull in references and doing a whole concept design for that. That just needs to be something in the background here. So and again, I'm going to try to keep this more on the lighter side for detail, and I unfortunately don't get to see a lot of this drawing here because it's behind. But I'm going to make a Mr. Squid here with X's on his eyes because he's not doing so well. And I think I'm going to go ahead and make it look like that there are guys like carrying the sliced up tentacles here. So they're going to go, I'm going to kind of hint at it here that there's some kind of soup bowl kind of thing going on here. I do plan on making an expansion for the game that has to do with seafood specifically, so I'm definitely going to work in giant squid into that eventually. And right now there's not really a lot of there's like a lot of fantasy characters in there. So I think I'm going to do some more piratey type things for that expansion, which would be kind of cool, I think. And I can add in these kind of ingredients that are more like squid and special kinds of fish and things like that, and different kinds of crab, which I kind of have something like crab in the game now. Which I don't think I've shown you guys that. I may have posted some of that on my artwork on Instagram, but yeah, I have like a big crab kind of thing. So there is a lot of that kind of stuff in here already, so I think it fits pretty well. Whoops, I did not want to do that. Accidental gradient tool. And then get a guy with an axe here. I mean, this got PG-13 really quick, huh? With all the squid murdering. Yeah, I think we can ink that in really quick and finish coloring for this. Guess I get a 5-pixel brush here. That looks right. I'm getting kind of sloppy, but I do have to remind myself that this is going to be on the card that's very small. So there's a lot of forgiveness going on here for the amount of detail that we'll actually be able to see. So I don't want to get caught up in perfection on this because it's going to be a lot harder to make some of these things out. We got any thoughts on the giant, like how he should look, or anything special about them? Not like Attack on Titan. Yeah, those things are kind of creepy. Maybe it's the no skin part that's creepy, but... Well, these giants obviously have some kind of level of intelligence, probably very high, so they probably are not going to look like some kind of skinless monster murder machines like the ones in Attack on Titan. So yeah, they're obviously eating fish here, so probably not the people. Yeah, I've seen a couple episodes. It's a bit intense. It really wasn't my style. I guess he should probably be a little happier that he's getting a giant fish, so we'll make him smile. He's a friendly giant. We could do some kind of headdress. Wouldn't even be opposed to doing something crazier. I don't know. Yeah, we could put a beanstalk in there. And maybe we need a golden goose somewhere. Maybe that's a special recipe ingredient for one of the items in the game. That would be funny, actually. There's going to be like a story mode in the game that are going to be like one-off scenarios you can play like quickly. That would be funny to do, like a Jack and the Beanstalk kind of thing, where you have to go and find these special ingredients and get out before the giant gets you. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just kind of drawing stuff, so. I guess I probably should be using some of that design language that we were coming up with the swirly stuff. Maybe I'm going to try to work that in a little bit more into this. That would probably make more sense than what I'm doing, which looked like some kind of crazy mohawk thing going on. I mean, I'm trying not to, again, put too much detail into this because it's going to be really small. There we go. I'm going to finish adding some of the water detail into this. I'll move over here to Mr. Squid. Keep adding some more detail here. I think this is working out okay for what we're going to do. It's just enough detail. Trying to keep the same relative scale for all these people, because that was actually really important to those types of drawings, is all the scale for everything was always pretty much the same across the board. Just going to add some more detail to this one just to fill it out a little more. Just so it's not so barren. Alright, there's squid stew for the giant. That'll work out. I'm going to keep adding some more detail here. Round out the rest of things that we need to do for the ink work here. I know we wanted to put a skeleton here. I know Biku had brought that up originally when we were talking about the design. I mean, you can't have like an adventure-y pit type of thing without a skeleton, right? So we'll go ahead and put a little bit of detail on him. We'll still give him a little hat. Why not? I think this guy's been looted already. His leg fell off. Yes, I did also have an adventurer over here that I never did finish. Just to get, again, just to show a little more scale for this. This didn't have to be any particular hero. I just wanted to kind of show somebody over here just to kind of keep that sense of scale going. probably be good enough for this guy. I don't want to get too crazy with detail on him because he's going to be really small. Alright, I think I'm going to go back and turn my sketch layers off here, and I'm going to go back to my coloring layers. I'm going to go ahead and block the rest of that out. And while I'm doing that, I want to ask a couple questions here because I wanted to try to keep it a little shorter tonight. But I did want to get some feedback from you guys to see how you think everything's going. Now that we've got a couple of these in the bag where we've done a couple different topics now. We've done some characters. We've done some concept art for this environment. And I know we talked about doing like the wagons and some kind of vehicle design. So, I mean, what do you guys like? Did you guys like the character stuff and the smaller projects where we can turn those out a little faster and see a little more progress? Or do you like these kind of longer term, bigger picture things where we dive deep into the lore and figure some of these things out? What do you guys think? And we can mix them up too. So if you do like them both, we can definitely mix them up. So, but I'm interested in hearing what you guys have to say, so I kind of know how to tailor some of these upcoming episodes and figure out a format that works really well for the kind of content that we're going to be making. Yeah, I have to admit this grass looks a little bit better than the really light green stuff. Yeah, if we like a bit of a mix, I don't mind doing like a short one and then a longer one, and then we kind of alternate. Because like I said, there's a lot of stuff to do here, and there's a lot of ground to cover. So I don't mind jumping back and forth on that, just to kind of break it up a little bit. So, you know, the characters are nice because you get some fast wins, and you can kind of see progress a little faster on some of those. But if you don't mind the longer stuff in between, yeah, we can kind of mix those up and kind of see how that goes. Is there anything else that you guys can think of that you would want to see as far as the world goes? I know you guys don't know much about the game, but just in general, any processes that you would like to see as far as how I would go about developing any type of particular content or anything like that? So I know we talked about cities and vehicles and things like that, so I don't know if there's any particular topics that you're really interested in. And we can definitely go with the wagons next if we kind of already talked about that, but alright. Let's fill in the rest of this grass here. Getting a little sloppy, I guess, but I'm going to have to go in there and fill that in, I think. Alright. I think I'm going to go ahead and start filling in some more of the shadows here. So Red Fox is interested in cities, culture, and history. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to eventually design the city that this island is built around. And it's going to be heavily influenced by like this kind of style here, I think, because that's just kind of how the world, I think, is going to end up being set up. So, yeah, it's going to be really fun, I think, to develop like a whole city. It's going to be like a port city that's got some mining elements here, because kind of the general story for what's going on here is this city was set up to mine some relics that they found in this ruin. So, but it's also a port. So there's a lot of fishing and a lot of stuff like that. And so I think it'll be an interesting mix of a mining / port city. And it'll be interesting to get reference for all that and kind of pull it all together. And, I'll probably go hunt down some reference from, historical things, Mediterranean stuff and all kinds of different things, and see and kind of pull it all together and see how we can kind of mix things together and make some sense out of it. So I'm just going in through the shadows here. I'm not being too picky where I'm laying these down, because I don't mind if they bleed in a little bit. Now, if I wanted to be like super precise, I would actually use some of the 3D stuff to really help me figure out where the shading and stuff would go. But I kind of want to keep it more on the sketchy side, so super realistic lighting is maybe not the best way to go for something like this. It just kind of needs to hint that there's some kind of accuracy here. So I am kind of adding some shading in here a little bit, but nothing super accurate, I would say. Add some shadows to the water, and that way we get that kind of like 80s and 90s three-tone looking shading to that. I think that'll keep it a little more thematic to kind of the style that we're going for here. So I don't want to kind of go too far off the path here from the original style that I'm looking for, which is kind of that 80s, 90s RPG, like Dragon Ball, Akira Toriyama style. From big Akira Toriyama style, like Chrono Trigger's art, Dragon Ball, Dragon Quest. So I really wanted to kind of keep things in that vein a little bit, but also develop an original style here for this. Obviously, I'm not just looking to copy the style or anything like that exactly, but that's the kind of general feel that I wanted to have for this. Is very bright, very fun and whimsical. Looks like this guy's going to be in kind of direct light, so there's not going to be a lot of shading on him. Probably just more like put some highlights in that one just to make the two-tone stuff stand out a little more, which I have to actually put into this one. I didn't put the two-tone things into the design yet. Again, I'm kind of just laying this down kind of fast because it's going to be super small. So if it's over the line just a little bit, it's really not even going to be noticeable. And I'm really trying to adopt the finished but not perfect mentality, especially since I have so much art to do. Just in characters alone, I think there's like 80 plus that need designed. So trying not to get too precious about any one particular piece of artwork unless it's going to see a lot of action in the game. Actually, I think I'm going to leave the people not colored here. Oops, I went the brush, not the eraser. That way, it's easier to tell the colors and what they mean across the board here. So that way the squid, you can definitely tell what the squid stuff is. I'd add a little color to the soup bowl here just to do it. And I guess I gotta add the two-tone stuff over here as well. Wrapping up this pretty close here. I don't think there's a whole lot else we have to do here. Maybe I'll throw a little color on the adventure to make him stand out a little bit more. Nothing super crazy there. All right, I think I'm gonna add a couple more detail lines here for the background. And then I think I'm probably going to call this one finished. No, I'm not trying to get too precious about the art lines here, but this grass here is looking pretty sloppy, so. All right, I think I'll probably call this one done for now and then see how it looks on the card. If I have any other work to do, it would be basically just adding some more of those hatching lines in there. You can see like a lot of the walls here, they're pretty plain, so I would probably just add some of those detail marks in there, because that's not only shading stuff, that's just meant to, give it a little bit of texture. So that is one thing that it's kind of missing, in some of the areas. So I would probably go in and add a little more of that stuff in here, like just generally throughout the whole thing. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with how that turned out for the first go around for the environment stuff. So, and I do want to keep in mind, like I said, it's going to be really small on a card, something like that probably, or even smaller. So I don't have to put a ton of detail in this for it to actually look really nice when we shrink it down. Well, I'm glad you like it, guys. I really appreciate your feedback on this one because, I mean, quite honestly, we're making some of this stuff up as we go along. So I really appreciate the feedback. It really helps flesh out some of this world and makes it a little more real, you know, when we add some of those details. Yeah, I know you guys will know what detail is in here. I do plan on eventually, let's say like when I go to Kickstarter or something like that for this, plan on making an art book and things like that, and I'll have these probably in larger format, so I'll include some like the sketches and a few of the other things that you know, I can't include in the game because it doesn't make sense. So I don't know if you can tell, but just adding like the little marks here just adds a whole bunch more texture to the surface to make it feel like it's not just so flat. Makes it feel it's more like a material rather than just a solid blob of color. Also gives it the appearance it's got a little more wear than if it has these marks instead of just perfectly smooth, which it's definitely not meant to feel that way. So you can see just me throwing kind of random lines here and there on this. Sometimes in where shading would be, because I do kind of use it as a hatch for shading as well, but then to also simulate a little bit of texture. All right, so I think I'll call that on this one. Next week, I'll go ahead and fill this in, throw it on a card, and we'll kind of see what it looks like. And then we can get into doing something a little bit smaller. So if we want to stick with the wagons or a character, we can definitely do that. Does anybody have any feedback on where we want to start next? I think the wagons may be kind of a medium-sized project. Those probably going to be somewhere in between something like this and a character. So you want to see the wagon? I do want to do the wagons. I think those are going to be really cool. And it is bothering me that it's the only game component that I'm using right now that's still just a sketch. It doesn't have any final or semi-final art. It's just really just a sketch that I colored in. So yeah, we can definitely start on doing those. And it'll be kind of a similar process to what we did with the environment designs, but obviously a little bit little bit less involved because it's not so much detail. We're not going to have these crazy inscriptions all over the place or anything like that. All right, then we'll definitely go for the wagon. Sounds like that's what all the votes are going to be for. So I'm definitely up for that. I think that's going to be really fun. And that's also a very big part of the game. So if I haven't said so, it's the game, you run a tavern, but you also have a wagon that you can serve stew off of. So you kind of are running like a fantasy tavern and food truck business in the game, and hiring heroes to help you get some of the crazier ingredients that you just can't go out and buy. So that's mostly what the game is about. So the wagon is a big deal. And you can see I'm adding, while I'm talking here, adding some more detail into the grass and things like that. Because I didn't want to keep that just completely barren either. So I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate all the feedback. It was a very great night. So thanks. Thanks for all your effort, and thanks for your time and attention and your creativity that we're adding to this. So again, I couldn't do this without you guys and all the feedback that you're providing. So I appreciate it very much. And thanks again, and keep creating every day.